record. So yes, I do find that WordPress is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to use. There's just a few key features. So I'm gonna get into those. So first, I just want to sort of gauge where you're at in your level of expertise. Is there anything that you want to come out of this workshop knowing?
I want to be able to tell other people how they can, as Mark said,
Add content.
Add content.
Okay.
Without there having to be one gatekeeper.
Sure. And so we're just going to add this to a little whiteboard so that hopefully we can get to all of these things. And we are going to cover adding content. So we're already off to a great start. Mark, is there anything else you want to come away with knowing?
Well, I think my future role will be a content creator.
Okay.
So that's really what I need to be able to do.
Okay. So once you get the bones of the website up and running, adding content is a breeze. Sure.
Our current hosting package doesn't allow us to have secret back-end files that are password protected. In other words, there are some members who ought to be able to see things that the general public can't see. And so I'd like to know if WordPress can do that, if we can do that with WordPress.
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but I can look into it for you. But I'm pretty sure it can, because it does a whole lot of like back end, like it's called staging. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. Like, so if you want to redesign a website, you just get in there, you hate what you have, you want to redesign it. You can do something called staging where you're building a new website. This one is still live and working, and then you can just make the new one go live when you're ready. So because it does that sort of back end stuff, I'm fairly confident to say.
What about like a subscriber type of thing where someone would have a username and a password to log in to see extra content?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, but I can double check on that for you.
Great.
So I am gonna ask Jackie to hit the lights just so you can see the.
And also, I want to understand more about plugins.
Oh, plugins. We're gonna talk a little bit about plugins
because we want to be able to accept donations. Like on one of the pages, we want to be able to accept donations. I don't know what all the plugins are going to be. I just know I've heard of them.
Yes.
And it's super plugin.
There's a plugin for everything. And I'm certain that can happen too. Because I've seen other libraries that have like a donation plugin on there.
So if a person came to our website and said, boy, I really like what we see here, could they subscribe to, let's say, a blog or a bi-weekly e-newsletter or something like that? That's something that we definitely do.
Yep. So we do not host our webs or our newsletter through our website through WordPress. We do it separately through MailChimp because it's just like one big mailing list. But WordPress does work really well with MailChimp to make signing up for a newsletter.
Is too warm for you, you can turn it off.
So they communicate very well together, but there's also plugins for doing your own newsletter through WordPress. I don't think there's some of the features that like mail service like MailChimp or Constant Contact allow, like some of the more like decorative features, like if you want a specific layout, colors, adding photos, that sort of thing. But that's also something we can check into. Okay, now I'm going to ask Jackie. Oh, it's Lee. Lee, is there anything you want to learn from this workshop?
Yeah, well, we tried doing a WordPress website and realized I didn't do anything. I brought a computer with me. Okay, so I thought maybe that would help.
Yes, so after we do the actual presentation part, I'm happy to sort of troubleshoot some things too.
Well, I'm not, we abandoned it.
Okay.
Okay.
And I did
So-
preface this by saying like IT is and Word and website building is not my
Main
forte,
wheelhouse.
main wheelhouse.
It's a hat she wears.
Yes, it's a hat that I inherited.
Right, like,
I am ready for the lights. We're gonna turn off the lights so they can see the screen in person. Is that okay? So we just did what we want. Oh, you're also gonna see Mark too. They can now see you, Mark.
Oh, okay.
They couldn't see you before. I'm gonna move. Oh, where do I move Mark so you guys can see the screen? I'm gonna move him down
You
here.
want me to turn off my camera?
No, you are fine. I just
Okay,
put you down in
okay.
the corner. You're in the corner. You're in timeout. I'm gonna move this. Okay, so have you registered with WordPress? Okay. So when you first register with WordPress, you'll need an email and a password. It's pretty straightforward. And then it'll ask you to choose your domain name. In the domain name, you want to keep it pretty short, make it easy to type, but you also want to include some keywords. So when a person types in Democratic Council, Allegheny County, it's gonna pop up. That's called search engine optimization. So our domain is alfredboxofbookslibrary.org. Not the easiest to type, pretty long, but it has Alfred and it has library in there, so it gets the job done. But it is not short and it is not easy to type. Yeah, Bob. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then once you get into WordPress, you've registered, it's going to ask you to choose a plan. There are tons of plans. There is a free version. If you're accepting donations or doing a newsletter, that's probably not your plan. But it sort of goes, it goes through all these enterprises for huge corporations and organizations. I don't think that's your plan either. Commerce is more for if you're selling products. And it just adds security to the front end of that and the back end of that. We use this business thing, I guess. No matter what you choose, you're not locked into it forever. You can always go lower, thinking, oh, I only need the premium, and then later move upward. So you're not locked into anything, but it sort of gives you the outline. And this is on the WordPress website, so you can look into the different options and stuff as you need them. And so I did want to talk a little bit about redesigning a website. I thought there were some people that were redesigning, but I did provide you with 2 worksheets. One is a website design worksheet, and this will help in considering what you need to create a website. So when you're designing, what are the goals of the website? What are your main overarching goals that you want to accomplish by having a website? Is it purely informational? Is it collecting donations? Is it providing meeting minutes and selling merchandise? Whatever it is, have a really clear idea of what your goals are. Also know who your audience will be. If you have, I think this is probably more for business, but if you know who you're selling to, you know how to cater your website. Whatever products and services you're offering, have those be on your homepage so it's readily available to people. Consider what somebody might type into Google. I think the statistic was something like 80% of web traffic comes from Google. People typing it into Google first and then getting there. So that, making sure your headlines, your web page banners contain some of those words that a person might choose. And then lastly, I really encourage you to look around the web at other websites you might like. I am forever spying on the other libraries and seeing what their websites look like. I want to see how they do it, what they have, what they're offering, what they're showing. And you find what you like and what you don't like. Is if you as a user goes onto a website and you're like, I cannot find the information I am looking for, you know how to then design your own website for ease of use. The second worksheet I gave you was a website audit. This is if you currently have a website and you just want to evaluate what you currently have, what's working, what's not working. So I'm gonna move past that. So once you have your account set up in WordPress, you can choose a theme. Your theme is how your website feels, how it works. A website for an artist is much different than a website for a business or an organization. So WordPress has countless numbers of themes. If you choose a theme and you later hate it, you can always change it. So
And that's just a click of a button.
It's a
isn't it?
click of a button.
Super easy.
It's a click of a button. Yep. So things that I like to consider. So this is a screenshot from our website. I'm going to talk about some of these menus and how I, as I was preparing for this workshop, I realized a lot of it comes down to personal preference. I don't like real cluttered websites. It overwhelms me. There are some libraries that my colleagues run their websites and I am like overwhelmed every time I go there. I like nice, clean, simple menus. I try to keep our main menu here, like this many items. I don't like lots of them, but you'll see a few others that are, they have a lot more, they have a lot less. So it's personal preference. But we'll talk about how to get this like sidebar information with like your landing page, your homepage should have as much information as possible without being overwhelming. So what a person might come to your website for, the hours that you're open, your phone number, how to get in touch with you, an email address, those should be like on that first page. So they're not hunting around for it. And it should also be, your homepage should also make it very clear what your website is. So if I just had a pottery wheel on our website, that wouldn't tell you anything about the library. So you want to make sure you have a picture or a logo, a graphic, something like that that identifies it. Also, a thing to consider is how it looks on mobile. Most of the themes on WordPress work on mobile as well, but some don't. So if you, in most of them, when you choose the theme, if it says, it'll say it's optimized for mobile, I believe is the language they use, because a ridiculous amount of people use their phones as opposed to a desktop, laptop sort of thing. So just making sure that it's optimized for mobile so that if a person is accessing it from their smartphone, they're not missing half the information because it's hidden and you can't get to it. So creating pages, I thought what we would do in a minute is I'll just go into the back end of our website and I'll show you exactly all these things that I'm talking about, like creating pages. Your home page, like I said, is your landing page, that first page. But then you can create pages for anything. I'll show you how to do that. It's fairly easy. Mark is hiding that. You can add text, photos. One thing that I'm try to be mindful of is like walls of text. They will leave your website so quickly. So if you can break the text up, if you can link it to other things, you know, like if you do have a lot of text that you want to share, like meeting minutes, for example, just link it to a PDF. So then a person could go find all the information if they wanted to. Once you create pages, then you can create menus and stuff. But first, these are some of my resources for using for copyright free images. I love Canva. Canva, that's what I'm doing this presentation in, is Canva. You don't want to borrow images from other sources on the web without having that permission.
Right.
It looks real tacky.
Yeah.
And you could get called out for it, and nobody has time for a copyright lawsuit. So these are some copyright free ways to get images. Canva is like my go-to girl.
I can't live without Canva.
We live by Canva
We
here.
sure do.
Okay, that'll be my next workshop. then.
You know, I already have a workshop on Canva for small businesses.
All right, great, because I go there and I should,
And as a nonprofit organization, you qualify for
The nonprofit-
premium.
Yep.
Which opens up tons of pictures. You don't have to search for pictures anymore. They're just
Mhm.
available to you. And if you can type in 5 keywords of what you want to do, and sometimes
It generates
a
it
frame
for
will
you.
Pop up, it's already made for you, just enter the information. It's-
Mhm. Canva is the best. I love it.
Is that Canva.org
It's I
it's
think
a
it's
.com,
I think it's a
or
.com
if you have a .org email address, you can
Right.
register
for
as
premium
freebie.
free.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and that just opens up so many tools. There is a free version. You're not going to get as many tools, but as a
The
nonprofit,
photos are limited, different extras are limited, but definitely it's worth using for sure.
if you're just looking for a quick photo, Unsplash and Pixabay are some of my go-tos. I think they limit you to like 3 a month or something like that. So if you've already gotten 3, it'll say, hey, buy this. Most of them are free. Sometimes you do have to buy them. I only ever look at free ones. And then the last way you can do it is you can go through Google, do an image search, click tools, select usage rights, Creative Commons. That'll send you to, that'll give you some copyright free images too. But that's not my preferred method. I haven't done it that way in a long time. Yeah.
Melanie,
Yes,
yeah, will you be sending us copies of this PowerPoint?
I sure
for
can.
the presentation? Can
Yes,
you do
I
that?
will. I will send out copies of the presentation, and I'll send electronic copies of the handouts as well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yep. So there's something called your primary menu. That was the menu that you saw up top. And then you can have a sidebar menu. You can add as many sidebar menus as you want. I personally like to keep it clean and simple. I have one sidebar menu. That's just a couple links. I'll show you. When you're getting ready to group the pages that you've created, so you've created a bunch of pages, then you can kind of group them to make a menu. So I'm going to show you that. We're going to go into the,
We're gonna get into that later.
yes, I'll go into the back end of our website and I'll show you how to create the page and then how to add it to a menu. Okay,
That's, I think, where the game's running. to.
perfect. So like, rather than having a little, a page for everything like about us, staff, our mission statement, our meeting minutes, I just create a menu item that says about us and I put all of those things in there. I think we have a menu item for like services we offer, and then it's broken down children, adult, teens. So I try to group like information so I'm not making a huge menu or lots of pages. So these are 2 examples from around our library system. One has a lot of menu items, 2 rows. One has 3 items. So really, it truly is personal preference. Friendship might have found that this was easiest for their users. Their users were having trouble finding something like policies, which I think I have under my About Us page. So it's really personal preference. I feel like this is too many and this is too few. But I also don't want to call out my colleagues. That's fine. There's one website in particular in the library system that oh my gosh, every time I go to it, I'm like, just tell me the information I need. And your homepage is so cluttered.
I know which one you mean. Well, no, I don't.
I think we've all come across them.
She knows which one I'm
I know
talking
which
about.
one it is.
And so in fairness, in fairness, our website did look like that. And in 2020, we underwent a huge redesign. And so I did the back end staging. I built the new website in the background. When it was ready to go live, we had a brand new website. I find this much easier.
Oh, great. Well, since you're the one that has. to
And
handle it
right,
every
if
day,
you're the one in the back end dealing with it, you've got to like it. I did want to talk a little bit about web accessibility. Most WordPress themes already account for accessibility. And so what they're really talking about is users who might have a visual impairment who are using a screen reader. You want to make sure that website can be read by a screen reader. If they have visual impairments and can't, that there's a high contrast between the font color and the background. The font size isn't too small. Do you all remember, like, in the early 90s websites that would have like that neon green background and like teeny tiny font? We gotta move away. We're moving away from that. We really want it to be accessible. And so most websites are that you're going to get through WordPress. There is this here Wave Web Accessibility Evaluation Tool. You can type in your URL and it will give you tips on how to make it even more accessible.
That is so cool. That's really good.
So it'll make sure that your font colors have enough contrast, that sort of thing. The real simple thing that you can do when you're building your pages, when you're adding text, is describing a link. So don't just say link. You describe it. Say link to budget documents, link to meeting minutes, so that a screen reader is reading that and it's the person, well, anybody really knows what they're clicking on. Another way is to caption all images. So if you choose to use an image, you can add a caption to it. And then there's something called alternative text, and this really is for screen readers. So screen readers cannot read images. So if you have an image that you're trying, you want to convey information through that image, adding alternative text allows the screen reader to still read that to a visually impaired person.
My husband and I see this when we watch movies that are on DVD. And sometimes we always use subtitles because we're old people.
I love subtitles because I like to listen at watch at a low volume, and the captions just make it, I can.
But sometimes we click on, one of the options for that, and you'll hear a voice say, and a young woman with brown hair and a blue dress.
Yes.
Walking through a field of daisies. Right. So that's what you're
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So it's just going to read that image to you.
Great.
And so, like I said, most of this is built in, but there are a few things that you can continue to do. Plugins. That was one of your questions. They add additional features. So not all of the themes that you're going to select have things like calendars, contact forms, event features. You would add plugins for these things. And there are tons of plugins for anything. And again, it's going to come back to personal preference, what you like to look at. And I think that's all I have here. And so I am going to stop sharing my screen. Well, no, I'm going to continue. I'm going to try to share my screen, Mark. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and I'm going to turn back on the lights. Do you have any questions so far?
In the information that you give us, where we have that link to the accessibility tool.
Yes, I can send that.
No, I don't have any questions so far. I understand that we have to choose a theme. And we as a group will decide what that theme is going to be, nothing fancy. The plugins, how do you find a plugin? How do you search for the ones?
Let's go into the back end of our website. Let's see if I can share this with Mark while also doing stuff. Oh, can you see Google, Mark?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm just gonna go into the back end of our website here. It's slower than dirt. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what happens.
You mind if I turn the lights back on?
Oh, no, I
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And then you guys can see what I'm doing.
Thank you.
Mark can see what I'm doing, but you guys can't.
Yes, you can.
are you gonna go? Maybe. Can I hide? No, that's not hide. Well, why? I wonder if it's because. Oh, no, there we are. I just had to be patient.
Mhm.
So most everything that you're going to need is over here on what they call your dashboard. That's not very clear, is it? Where is my little?
This screen, and you can take it, plug right into any computer with any software and.
Okay, so most everything you're gonna
Well, from this slide.
just from here. Yeah. So most everything is you're gonna need to do is over here. Ignore these update things. STLS is doing something on their end. They host our website, so they're doing something on their end that I have to wait for. So Karen, to answer your question, to find plugins, you just go to plugins and you can see what's currently installed. Now these are plugins that STLS recommended to us, that they might have installed even too. So I don't know if I know what all of them do. We did just, some of them reduce file sizes.
So that makes pages load faster?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. Our events calendar, we're currently having an issue because our version of PHP is out of date. The
Yeah.
STLS is doing some stuff. So our events calendar is a plugin that we use.
Okay.
These are the ones that WordPress.
So STLS chose this menu of plugins for you to use. They've sort of
Yes.
recommended these, but we could go out into the World Wide Web and say WordPress plugin that is a, I don't know, hydrometer.
Yeah.
And we'd be able to find that.
So you can go to add new plugin right here. Under plugins, if you go to add new plugins, you can type in a search word, like if you need to do a sexual harassment training. Apparently I needed to, so there are tons of them. If you type in whatever you need to type, look for whatever particular plugin you're working with, or think you want to add, you can just go in here and search for it.
Super.
So let's go back to pages. So you can see all your pages or you can add new. I'm just going to click here on pages first and wait for it to do its thing. So these are all the pages I've ever created. Some of them work, some of them are not working right now. Some of them are hiding in the background, but they're there in case I want to.
You can turn them on and off?
Yes.
Okay.
I can add them to a menu and then they'll be visible to
So you can create a page, but unless you add it to a menu, it doesn't show up.
correct. So like 2022 summer reading program, I could probably delete that. but as Jackie will tell you, I'm a bit of a hoarder. So my desk, the website, it's the same. So you can see all the pages you've ever created. So if I wanted to go in and let's look at one that's current. So here we have our Alfred Box of Books trustees page. You can click on that. And then go make yourself a sandwich while you're waiting. I wonder if it's because I'm so, and so you will see all of our trustees. So if I had to you know, like Les is no longer our financial officer. Megan is no longer our secretary. Let's update these, shall we? So Megan Barry is our new secretary. Pat Crandall. So you can just update them. And let's
Financial officer as opposed to treasurer.
And-
Because you probably have a
bookkeeper. Yep.
Got it.
And then who am Carlin Yanda? So you make your updates. We also have a link to our trustee meeting documents. That includes because we're taxpayer funded, we have to make public our minutes, our agenda, all that jazz. Those are there. So once you make any changes, you just say update.
Let's see what update is.
Oh, that's because you are off the screen. Update is okay.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna move.
It's in the upper right with the button. Oh.
Yep, this
that's
blue.
right.
Yep. It'll
I
keep.
should've known what that-
I should.
And because this, what you just modified is already part of the menu. The next
Yes.
time anybody looks.
Yes,
Immediately updated.
I will go show you that right now. So it's updated. You can click back on this W over here in the other corner.
Mhm.
And that'll take you back to your dashboard. Eventually. And if you click up here where it says your website name,
Okay.
this will let you see your live site, like what
Got
it
it.
looks like right now.
Mhm.
So if we go there, so sometimes you can toggle, sometimes people just open a new browser window, or you can use this little guy, which is what I tend to use. If you go to About Us and you go to, oh, you know what? Maybe that was an old page that I updated that did. Yes, it is. Okay, I am. Oh, okay, I'm a liar. But anyhow.
I think the concept.
You would, yes, you would see, so these are all of our past meeting documents. But you would see also. Maybe I meant that to go live and I didn't include it. Well,
May I ask you a question?
yes.
On the page, your dashboard where it shows all the
Mhm.
pages, is there a place where you can archive the ones that you don't want to, you want to save them because you're a hoarder, but you don't want them in your active list?
That is a good question. It gives you some, no. So it gives you
can get
options.
rid of it?
Yeah, you can either view it, you can edit it, you can do a quick edit. I don't know better.
No folders?
Nope.
No folders, okay. And they're alphabetically organized.
Yes.
So does the title that you have listed there, is that what the public sees? 'Cause you
Correct.
could- Oh, it is. So you couldn't put like a little secret message to yourself that says 2013 or something, so you know it's no longer.
You could, if you're not adding it to a menu and making it live, you can add, yes.
Okay, it's only
Yes.
live that goes.
Yes, so like if I wanted to take this 2022 summer reading and I wanted to still keep it, but I didn't want it to show up here on the front of my list, you could probably just add a Z and it would drop it down to the end of your list.
Right, yes, okay.
The other one's numbers.
Yes,
That would be up top.
it put it up top. Yep.
Ah, okay.
So so these are all your pages. If you want to create a new page, up here is add new page.
Before you click there. can
Oh.
you Tell me what bulk actions are. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Yep.
Yes, people can.
Nope.
I'm just gonna go make another scene.
Bulk actions allow you to delete a lot of pages at once. Or I think you can also edit them if you're adding, like if you want to add, I don't know what instance you would want to edit all of your pages at once. Maybe if you wanted to include a logo on every single one. Bulk actions, oh yes, edit or move to trash. Those are your two options.
Okay.
So you would just select the pages that you wanted to and either edit them or,
And once you've moved them to trash, are they permanently gone or does trash say, are you sure? You don't have to. trash
that is
one of your-
a good question.
I know, because I'm working with Bumpers right now,
Mhm.
what they do is they put things in trash, like, they put it in trash. They say, after 30 days, it will clear.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's there for a limited
Mhm.
period of time.
And I know that because STLS is our host site,
Mhm.
like if I accidentally deleted all of these pages, they can
Retreat.
yes, restore the website. So I'm not afraid of
Okay.
doing bad things. But if I would think that most hosting would allow you to retrieve a page that you had deleted. Yeah, maybe it officially disappears after 30 days, but whoever you choose to host your platform should.
What I read again and again is when something's on the web.
It's yeah. Yeah. So these are all your pages. You can make updates, change things, and then go automatically back to your website and check those changes, see how it looks in real time. You can add a new page. You just click this add new page. And one thing that WordPress recently moved to is what they call blocks. So this first block is the title of your page. Make it pretty straightforward, easy to understand. Meeting minutes, fundraiser, straightforward. Yeah. And then you can choose different types of blocks by clicking this little plus sign up here. You can see all of the different options. You can add a paragraph, you can add another heading, you can add lists. I mean, I guess if you want to write a verse, you can write a verse. I've honestly never used that one.
I like pull quotes. That's good.
Yes, pull quotes.
Break up bodies of text.
It sure does.
Page, right?
Yep. You can add images. Here's where you would add images. You can also add files. So when I have to upload our meeting minutes, I add a file here.
And so you click on that and you go out onto your hard drive.
Yep. So here I can show you an example. So like if we're gonna do a file, it'll open up this box. You say upload. It'll allow you to retrieve it from your computer. Same thing with images. Okay. Once you upload an image, it's what they call your gallery. So you can see all of the images that a gallery here is different. Silly me.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yes. One thing I do want to caution you on is a lot of websites on their homepage, they put what's called a carousel, which is moving images. A lot of people love that. But especially for using your website on mobile, the amount of bandwidth that takes to make those images turn can really slow down your website. So I got rid of ours. I was like, we have one static image that we change out periodically. So if you saw
the cherry blossom, apple blossom.
Nope, I will show you. That was our header. We'll talk about headers too. On our website here, I change out the image on our homepage just to advertise whatever program we have coming up.
Oh, okay.
So that does take some work. This image here where we have our wreath fundraiser. So this does take some work on your end to change it out when you're showcasing something else. But it sort of strikes that balance between keeping it visually interesting and changing it out, but also it's a static image. It's not going to move. The thing with moving images too that I don't like is they are not screen reader compatible. So even if you add an alternative text, that alternative text doesn't keep up with the switching images. So I just tend to avoid them. I was like, they can look good, but I don't know if they're.
Wordpress is also with, if you have a gallery.
Mhm.
It's
Yes.
And then it would switch them. So every time you open it, you're looking at something new, so it looks like somebody else.
Oh.
I thought I saw that.
So it will
It's not
save.
moving, it's
Right.
images, but they change every time.
Are you talking about so here and media, I believe. Is it media?
I mean, I was working with this thing 2 years ago.
You do
and I
have-
never really figured it
You do
out.
have a gallery, and they consider a gallery as all the images that you've uploaded. So if you want to add them again and again to other pages, it will, yes, under media. These are all the images or board docs that I've uploaded ever. I don't know why these would change on you though.
I thought it was like a subset, you know, a limited.
Maybe that's a plugin.
I
that
don't
you-
know.
Mm,
I don't.
That's
I thought
true.
it was WordPress I saw it on, or
Okay.
maybe somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Because I'm not real web savvy. I'm
Mhm.
not.
Yeah. So these are the gallery just sort of holds on to all those images for you so that you can add them to a page, a carousel, whatever.
So
you-
let's say there was, let's call it a carousel,
Mhm.
even though that's not what you're talking about. You could choose the images from here.
Yes, and when we had a carousel, that was a plugin. Yep. So if we go back to, so you can do pages. Posts as if your website is more of a blog because WordPress started out as blog thing. So we never use posts. We have our pages. Once you have all of your pages, you can go here to appearance. This is where you can switch out your theme if you want, if you don't like what you want to have. But the one thing is probably the most important thing for me anyway, that I use the most is menus. And so this will allow you to change all of your menus, and I'll show you. You click on menus and you eat a sandwich. So this is our sidebar menu. Here it will tell you what menu you're working on.
Do you name it or does?
You
WordPress-
name it.
Okay.
So this is everything that's on our sidebar menu right now. I have links. I did links on our sidebar menu. So these are some common links that a person might be looking for. If they also visit our website, we have a link to the Southern Tier Library System, a link to our YouTube channel, whatever. Over here on the left, you have all the pages that you've created. Or these ones are the most recent. You can say view all. So most recent, if I wanted to add the holiday wreath fundraiser to this sidebar menu, you simply check the box and say add to menu. I believe it always defaults to the bottom. Yes. Then you can just grab it with your cursor and move it wherever you want to in that lineup. So if you want it to be the most important first thing that people might click on, you can put it at the top. If you can leave it at the last thing. So I'm going to say save menu here, and we'll go look at how that looks in on the website. Again, back to the Alfred Box of Books Library, the name of your website. So this here is your sidebar menu because it's on the side. And you'll see the holiday, you will see the holiday wreath fundraiser there at the top. So your fundraiser is over, you go back into your dashboard. This time you can bake your own bread. Wow. And you go back into appearance, back into those menus. And you're done with your holiday wreath fundraiser. You click this little down arrow and just say remove.
Okay.
Save it again. If you don't save it, it won't really remove it.
Mm,
And then if you were to go back into the website, you would see it's no longer there. So up
But
here,
it's not disappeared.
it's not disappeared. It's just
It's
no
just
longer
not back
visible
into
to the
the
public.
gallery.
Yep, correct. So then also, so you have your sidebar menu. I also have my primary menu. That's the menu that runs along the top of the website. We're gonna select that for a second, just so you can see. So this one looks a little bit different because these are different pages, and then I have drop downs under pages. So services is what you're gonna see when you first land on the page. You see services, and when you hover your cursor over that, then you're gonna see youth services. It'll branch out again to homeschool resources. And I can show you how that looks. Those are all pages. So they come from over here. If you want to create custom links, I don't know if you noticed on our sidebar menu, those were all custom links.
Yes, except for the one that you called a page.
Correct.
Mhm.
These are all, so to make links, instead of using a page that you've already made, you would just say custom links, drop in the URL here,
Mhm.
and then how you want it to show up. Yeah. So it's not a bunch of gobbledygook. It'll say, whatever you want it to
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
Those are the only things that I really use here just to update those menus. I'll show you how the main menu looks with all the sub pages.
Can I ask one question?
Mhm.
What's the difference between a widget and a plugin? Well, a plugin is something you go out. Oh,
We're
okay.
gonna get there. We'll talk. Okay, so this is that main menu. Under services, now you see youth services. You see 1,000 books before kindergarten, homeschool resources, technology assistance, a library of things. So when you're making that menu, if you sort of indent it, it's just going to be a sub item on that menu. Your widgets. Let's see if I can just click on widgets. Oh, look at this. Available widgets, archives. I don't know what that does, but we can explore. So right now, I have it looks like I only have one. No, I have a few sidebars or widgets. This is the right sidebar, not to be confused with the sidebar menu. This will show our hours, our useful links, a couple of different things. So let's go here back to the website. It's a lot of bouncing back and forth. So as opposed to the menu, the widget is going to be this. It's going to show our hours, our phone number. It's going to show Job Now and Peterson's Test Prep. Those are widgets. Also, this contact us down here is a widget. So you're adding a footer. Up here, this is also a widget, adding your social media icons.
Okay.
And so those are clickable links. So a person could click on them and go straight to our Instagram or our Facebook. So widgets just add a little bit more information. So we have our hours here, and it's just a text box. You can type them in. Our useful links. This is a menu, so that skips down. And then these are things that I added, the Community Connect, that was a special grant that we got, and then Job Now is a database, and Peterson's Test Prep is a database. These are all the areas where you can add text, graphics, images too, your left sidebar. So you can decide if you want things on both sides of your page, on just one side of the page. I know I have a footer. I have a footer somewhere. Footer. Is our contact us. So your widgets is these widgets in particular, your sidebars, footers, those are just telling the website where to put things. I don't ever use any of these things.
Okay.
I would be curious to know what archives are. But I basically just use these. Probably not helpful for you. One thing, another thing that I wanted to show you is customize. This is again under appearance. Same where you find your menus, you can go to customize. This will allow you to do things like change font colors. This is basically like the overall feel of your website. So this, there will be little pencil icons when you can edit something. So we have our social media icons here. So if you wanted to switch out this photo, so it's no longer spring, you want to add a different photo. These are some of the photos that I've added in the past. So you could just click on one, or you can upload one.
And then scroll all the way back down. Randomize uploaded headers. Is that?
That might
what
be,
he's talking
that
about?
might be, that's, yes. It might sort of scroll through them. This is where you would name your website. Again, you want it to be pretty clear. I am gonna, I think that's your site identity. I think that's what they call that.
Okay.
You can also add a logo there. You can add this little site icon. So if you have a logo and somebody visits your website, it'll show up on their little browser window.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You can add a tagline. So if you have your organization name and then you also have a tagline, you can add that. You can also get to your menus, your widgets, all of that stuff here too. But mostly I just customize my homepage from here. I did want to show, I think it's under global is where you can add your colors. So you can, if you decided you wanted to add a background color, let's pick a real obnoxious one. Yellow. Oh, see, it's just changing the sides here. It's actually not changing the behind the text. Yeah. I don't know.
Creating a border.
Yeah, it's just creating a border. But is it? You can change your font here. And oh no, that's your heading. Colors. Primary colors. Oh, so
That's the primary color of your text on your site, right?
any link is going to get this color.
Okay.
So our text defaults to this sort of blackish gray, but then any text
Anything that's happening.
is turns blue. Yep. But you could change that to anything. If you wanted to change it to yellow. Oh Lord.
Wow.
Don't do that. I thought I will just say changes will be lost. Okay. That's what I want. I don't want primary colors. I don't change our colors too often, obviously, for obvious reasons. Let's go back to the site, make sure it didn't save. That would be my luck. It would be neon yellow.
Is that why?
No. Oh no. Yes, I didn't think I saved it, but you never know. Any other questions?
Have you ever had to use their tech support or customer service, or is WordPress pretty much?
I have not, only because STLS does all of our hosting.
Yeah.
So any hosting issues, they used to use GoDaddy for a while, and then they moved to their own sort of internal hosting. So any sort of back end issue they sort of take care of without even letting us know. So in that way, I can't relate to that.
Okay.
But when I was on the board of the Wellsville Montessori School, the host was GoDaddy. And then we originally used, I think they were using Wix, and I moved them to WordPress. GoDaddy is miserable to work with. They're awful. Like trying to get a person, like I would wait on hold for like upwards of hours just trying to get a person on the phone to answer a simple question about hosting.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not great. They're not great. Also, do you remember their old commercials? They were super sexist. They had Danica something. She was a race car driver. I just remember one Super Bowl commercial where I was like so disgusted. I was like, this is how they're choosing to market their company. Okay. That tells you everything you need. So yes, GoDaddy. Yes. Yeah. But now I think WordPress offers hosting options. There are a ton more out there. You don't have to go with GoDaddy. So I've never had to deal with tech support. This issue with our outdated PHP, I've put in some help desk tickets with STLS, and they say, we're working on it. We're working on it. So I don't know, but it's affecting our calendar. I know that. Our calendar is a widget, or not a widget, I'm sorry, a plugin. And so we just discovered this last week, maybe. If you type in, like events in Alfred, none of our events come up.
Wow.
But Hornell's will.
Okay.
And Hornell is an STLS library. They have the same calendar we do. They have the same exact WordPress theme we do. And so I reached out to STLS and I said, hey, what's going on? And they said, we bet it's your outdated PHP, everything. So STLS is working on migrating all 48 libraries websites to a different server. I don't know. Something. They have to migrate them somewhere. Okay. And so they're just waiting, and we have not been updated yet. So once we get to the events, I think, or once we get updated, I think our events page, like if you type in Alfred events, we would show up, because so many people use Google as like sort of their gateway to the internet. And so if you're looking for events in Alfred, it might be natural for you to just type in like what's happening in Alfred, and you're going to miss a whole segment.
Okay, now I've got a question that
Sure.
it's a pivot. So there's that little lock that
Yes.
shows that you've got an SSL or something like that.
Yes.
This is a secure. I happen to occasionally visit a website that I should be able to trust, but it doesn't have that. And my warning system says,
yes,
don't go there.
Yes.
McAfee or somebody tells me don't go there. Does WordPress automatically have that?
They do not.
Okay.
And that's something that STLS does on their end, because I think you purchase that certificate.
Oh.
So every now and then we'll get a notice that our security certificate is out of date. STLS just hasn't like applied it yet. So that's something I cannot answer.
Well, no,
about,
you did just answer.
It sort of happens outside of us. Okay, yes, we do.
Somebody like your sister will be able to get us that certificate. Maybe. I don't
yes.
know. Yeah. I don't know.
And depending,
I don't know what she can and cannot do.
So
turned into gobbledygook. Okay.
So-
Really fast.
So depending on who hosts your site, so like if it's GoDaddy or whatever, let's just use GoDaddy as an example. GoDaddy will make that an option to you. So you're gonna pay for their hosting and then you can pay for the additional SSL certificate. If you're doing things like commerce and stuff, like if you're accepting donations, like you have to have that certificate just because people are going to be putting in credit card information, that
Right,
sort of
right.
thing. You want to make sure it's as secure as
Right
possible.
now, any donations that we receive, we have an Act Group page. And so we have a link to our Act Group page. our
Okay.
page, And Act Group takes care of all of
That's perfect. That is perfect. I think I've seen some libraries do like a donate button and you can do your PayPal link. So if you had a PayPal, you can, I think it's creating, I think it might be in your menu where you're creating a custom link. I think it will allow you to also upload an image. So you could upload like the PayPal logo. So people, like they need that instant recognition.
Yeah.
And looking at a logo is easier than reading a sentence. Yeah. So I think that's how you would do that. Like if you had a PayPal or whatever. Any other questions?
We got to plugins.
Oh,
We got
yes.
To add
pass-
content.
Password protected content. Where would,
Does WordPress have a search feature for its back end? So
for its back end?
yeah, so for example, if you're the person who's trying to develop a site, can you just go and look for something like,
I think there's a search feature like in Pages where you have all of the pages that you've ever created. There is a search function
but
there.
that's searching your content. What I'm
Yes.
suggesting is, do you know whether there's one that searches like their tutorial or their,
Oh, no,
Okay.
not from the back end of your website. If you just go to wordpress.com, they do have a ton of tutorials,
Okay.
webinars,
okay,
and that's one of the resources I listed there on the, there's webinars and,
there you go, yep. Webinars and courses, tips for building your.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you gotta warn me.
I should have warned you. I am so sorry.
So bright.
I am so sorry. Yes, and now it's like dark outside, so I just blinded everyone in the room. So, what were we saying before I blinded you?
That WordPress has its own, the WordPress homepage.
Yes,
Not-
has
not
its-
when you're working. in the back.
I will show, they have tons of guides, like, so I am not great at reading stuff that's on a screen, like looking at walls of text. So like some of their guides are quite lengthy, but they will walk through everything from like the basics all the way up to, and I just print them out and then I can read them at my leisure. I can highlight things. I can go in and try it on the back end and see how it looks, make notes to myself. So their guides are very helpful. I really do like those. Anything else?
The password protected.
The
content,
password protected content.
and that might be
That might be a question that I have to follow up on. So you want it to be, they enter a password on the website. So a person comes to your website, in order to access a page, they have to,
right. Let's say, so for the Democratic Committee, there are documents that we would like to have available to our members, but
Mhm.
not to the general public.
correct. There's gotta be, there has to be. I wonder if it's a plugin.
Okay.
Let's go to plugins and say add new
Is there
and just.
a library of plugins that you can search for?
Mhm. So let's search and see if we can, we'll call that password.
I know that people
Mhm.
have done like recipe websites, and some of the recipes are free, But if you're a subscriber, it unlocks a whole different menu and a whole bunch of different like links you can click, and that's kind of what you're looking
That's
for.
what I'm looking
Like
for.
you want a face that everybody can, view the content, but then there's deeper content for people who are subscribers or
Or
supporters.
like, let's say we have a candidate and we want to host content on our website that talks to them about what they have to do with the Board of Elections to become a candidate. So that it's on the web and we don't have to email them documents.
Sure. So here, what I just typed in, it's under the plugins, I said add new, and I typed in that search box, password protected, and there is a plugin called password protected pages. So I believe you would just install that, and then any password protected page that you wanted to create, you would just put it under that plugin.
Okay.
Well, how is this disseminated afterwards to people who?
Or do people create a username and put in their own password? How does that work? Because that would make more sense. That you could just email them an invitation to create an account, and then they would have access to their own password. That way you're not spreading out one password to a whole bunch of people.
There's also one called WordPress Edit, password protected, create member and user own only page and design password.
Love it, love it, love it. So it's under
Plugins.
Plugins, yes.
And you can try one out, and if it's not what you want,
You can always
and
remove it.
doesn't change
Yes.
anything, right?
Correct. Yep. All of your plugins, if you remember when you go to that, all of your installed plugins, you can see all the ones you have installed. That's where you can delete them too. So if you get one that you don't like, that isn't working for you, that isn't meeting your needs, go and delete it.
Are plugins generally free?
Yes. Yes. They just add a little bit extra pizzazz to your website. Pizzazz. Password protection, donations, subscribe. I wonder if donations would also fall under a plugin. Let's type in donation. Oh, nope, those are my installed plugins. Let's add new.
I'm sure there's a PayPal plugin. Like I see lots of websites saying support us.
Yeah.
I see that on the Wellsville Sun.
Yep.
Yes.
And, if you find it, I'm pretty sure that is also a WordPress website.
And because it would just link to your PayPal, you can make it the customized link that I told you about in your menu. But yes, there are plugins for donations.
All right.
A
now-
donation plugin. I mean, there are so many of them. You know, like they might all do the same, but they might look a little different on the front end of things. So it's really a personal preference, what you like, what is easiest for you to use, what's easiest for visitors to your site to use.
So now thinking of the other project is under development, understanding the user password thing that gets people to, let's say, membership level content instead of just general public content. What if we want to push something out the way like Substack does? So let's say somebody's creating content and we want it to automatically be disseminated instead of having people have to come to our page to get it. They have to sign up. They have to sign up.
If they like signed up for, you know how you can sign up for various people's like newsletters and stuff. I think it would be the same thing. Like there, you could add, again, that's probably a plugin to ask them to sign up to your, like, so anytime you update your page, they'll get an email to say, hey, the Democratic Committee updated, check out the updates or whatever.
Okay,
And it
good.
can just be something simple like that. It doesn't have to be like, these are all the updates we made. Melanie added 72 photos and then deleted them. She turned the page yellow. Yes, she turned it all yellow. Any other questions?
And there are ways to restore if you do something horrible, right?
That I think it depends on their hosting.
Okay.
So whatever hosting you go to, if you
Well, the hosting that has been donated to us is through our friend Sarah. And I don't know who she pays
Okay.
to host her website. I don't
okay,
know. But so that's a good question.
because they're also going to issue your security certificate.
Yep.
And sort of
I think she's got multiple web pages
okay.
already now. I believe, I know she has at least
Okay.
I can't, Wonders Trumpet is one,
Yep.
that's an e-commerce
Yep.
website.
And I noticed when I emailed everyone,
Trumpets. That's her other,
That's her other email.
mhm,
That's Trumpet's Cauldron. Yes,
but
right.
I think that's her e-commerce
Okay,
website.
all right.
yeah. So, yeah. I'm gonna tell you that there's nothing you can do that will break anything. Like, really, go in and play with it. Nothing is permanent.
I remember the first time I touched a computer. I remember that. Scary.
Yeah. There really is. Like, just go in there and play around. See what you like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Try practicing making some pages. I'm happy to set up appointment time with you to like make those appointments or make those pages with you, see how they work, make any changes. It is sort of fun once you get the hang of it.
It's a little creative.
Yes, it's creative. And like websites are I think, they're so important. That's how people get,
It frames people's perspective about what your organization is like, you know,
mhm.
and it's really important to make a really good impression and
Yes.
make the stuff available.
Yes, so, yeah. Sort, no, you're okay. I am gonna stop recording just so we don't record.
Okay.
We're pretty much done with the main content, but just because we have a little